Good day to you one and all. It is I, Justin Hawkins. I am so thrilled and excited and just, do you know what? This is home sweet home. I'm in my basement. I'm addressing you on the subject of some music that's exciting from what I've been told by my producer. She's told me to cover this thing called Squid, Building 650s from their forthcoming album, Cowards. Great. I mean, Cowards is a great name for an album, isn't it? Or a band. Or to describe people who make salacious assumptions about your personal life but would never do so to your face. I love Cowards as a concept and just a word as well. What a great word. Justin Hawkins rides again. You'll notice I'm wearing a mint green suit made by Lanvin, which is really posh. And whenever I put this on, I think, well, this is the sort of thing that you might see Rick Astley wearing. It'd look better on him because of his extraordinary root lift and just his overall kind of Rick Astleyness. So we'll call this the Rick Astley suit from now on, I think. Anyway, Squid are from Brighton, which is the same place that Lambrini Girls and Wren come from. And Squid have been described as an art rock and post-punk quintet, which means 5 members whose music pushes musical boundaries, exploring folk, psychedelia, jazz and electronics. So I'm excited to hear the electronics element of it. Building 650 is the second single to be taken from their third album, Cowards, brilliant name, which is released next month. It's a follow-up to Crispy Skin, which is a condition that I suffer with in the summer. It's the opposite of Raynaud's syndrome. Raynaud's is what happens in the winter here in Switzerland when I sort of lose sensation in my fingers. It makes it really difficult to play guitar, especially when you're playing a guitar with 2 necks like that. Crispy Skin is when I just don't put enough sunblock on. Anyway, Crispy Skin, which is a song that told the story of how cannibalism becomes the social norm and humans are manufactured and sold in supermarkets. So I'm going to quickly watch a bit of that. Okay, well, that's fucking weird. I love it. Okay, cool. Wow. This is going to be interesting. Okay, the band have previously explained Building 650 was inspired by a trip to Japan, and in the words of vocalist and drummer Ollie Judge, I love it when vocalists are also drummers. 2 great examples of that, the Eagles and Jellyfish. Oh, Roger Taylor from Queen, great vocalist, great drummer. Actually, his son Rufus can sing as well, so maybe he should... Then I can retire and just do this every day in my green suit or some other suit. That's it. That is it. Okay. Problem solved. All right, cool. So anyway, Building 650 was inspired by a trip to Japan and is about being an outsider and the particular type of loneliness one can feel visiting a country that is so different from their own. On listening to the new track, one reviewer concluded, it sounds a lot like a latter-day Sonic Youth song until the strings arrive, and then I don't know what it sounds like. That's really cool. I'm a big fan of Sonic Youth, so I've got a feeling I'm probably going to really enjoy this one. Check that. I like that little riff. And the way it just sort of, that B suspends over the next revolution before the dee-dee-dee-dee-dee starts. It actually reminds me of Paint In. Is it Paint In or I Paint It? The one about painting something black by the Rolling Stones music band. And that's it. Ah. And it goes. I said. It's quite lovely, that. And the bass player's gone wandering, just wandering around. A meandering bass line is just one of the things that I live for. I love it. Whenever I play bass, I find it's that moment when you can just explore. You can feel your way around when you're playing bass. It's not about getting the notes right. It's about the feel, So you can hit something that's completely dissonant, discordant, in the wrong key or whatever, and you can always rectify it. And you feel it in your chest when you get to the right moment. If you've got a loud enough amp or you're bassy enough. And I do think that bass is one of the most rewarding instruments to play, and just because it is all about the feel. It's never about the notes. Sometimes if you analyse what a bass line's doing, you think, "What? That's wrong." Some of that stuff doesn't add up. But some of the best bass lines are like that because it's about feel. How many times shall I emphasise that? And it's about feel, 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 feel. Ooh, it's about feel. 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 Okay, I'll stop. No. So the bass line seems to be pumping on a B. On the third of each, so 1, 1, 2, 3, and he's doing other stuff around there. And it's interesting because that sort of puts it in a B minor. But then the second note of that, if it is a B minor, can you hear the James Bondiness in there?
Frank's my friend, he's my friend, we are friends, there's murder sometimes, but he's a real nice guy.
I love the bit. But he's a real nice guy. That's a lovely bit of emoting in a different way. And he's managed to say, but he's a real nice guy in this super creepy way that makes you think he probably isn't a very nice guy. Whew, wow, already unsettling.
Well, Frank's my friend, tie him up.
We tie them up. I hope this is... I don't know what I hope. I'm beyond... This is beyond hope already. This exists in a completely different universe to the kind of, pop or rock that I normally cover. It's just like surrealist in the extreme. Okay, so here's the strings that pull it away from the Sonic Youth.
The flame can melt his nose and mouth. The flame can melt almost anything.
I love that phrase there. A flame could melt almost anything. That's really true. That's a little piece of physics that I shared with an employee of one of the airports that I was travelling through. I had a stick deodorant deliberately because I thought, it being a stick deodorant, it's in the solid form. And they pulled it, you're only allowed a certain amount of liquids. And they said, but if it gets hot, then that stick deodorant will become a liquid. And I was like, everything on this fucking planet exists in 3 different states. It can be a gas, or it can be a liquid, or it can be a solid. It really depends on the ambient temperature around it. You could take the pavement outside the fucking airport, and if you apply enough heat, that's going to melt. Does that make it a liquid? No, it's a fucking solid. Honestly, just simple physics, and I'm really glad that Squid have cleared that up for us.
A shopping mall, some kerosene. I like the shoes, 'cause I've seen rarer things.
Okay, so shopping mall, some kerosene, light the shoes, because I've seen rarer things. So this is an arsonist that's concerned with consumerism or rampant consumerism, and feels as though a cleansing fire might be a better way to utilize the space taken up by a mall or something as cynical as that, probably. I don't know.
Like a murderer, saying worldly things. A flame could melt his nose and mouth. A flame could melt almost anything.
Yeah, it's so funny because there's so much potential for melody in this, and he's kind of ignoring all of it just to say this weird stuff about a flame could melt his nose and mouth. And then all the sort of harmonic information is provided by this string quartet. Sorry about that. I just got an email in saying stop waffling. Okay, we'll do.
Those plastic foods on the windowsill. There is no taste.
I mean, I know that there's been a lot of Sonic Youth comparisons and all that stuff, but I'd say there's a little bit of The Fall in there, in the way that there's an absolute refusal to do anything sort of melodically sympathetic with what the band's up to, and I'm all for it. I think this is great. It's almost like, dare I say it, a dramatic monologue.
Frank's my friend, no true American. No true American.
There he goes, and then he finally releases us from the discomfort of an how do you call it, an atonal kind of approach to the vocal. No true American, and then suddenly there's a hook there. After 3 minutes, you get something that sort of resembles a melody.
No true American.
And that's a hell of a hook, actually.
Lights are on in building 650. The lights are red where we go. Frank's my friend, no true American.
It's really interesting. I'm just going to read this comment from Nakix4. I love where your sound is heading at. It is the ultimate insane mix of genres that I was expecting from you all. Love this shit. I think I'm in the same camp, actually. This stuff's really interesting. It's kind of got a bit of Pavement, bit of Sonic Youth. It's got a bit of The Fall. And I really appreciate the orchestral arrangement. It's kind of almost Paul Buckmaster-esque in its brilliance. For a string quartet to sound that powerful and symphonic, it's really impressive.
Frank's my friend, no true American.
Wow, okay. And this is probably the most important part of any video these days, is like when they do a tile that sort of lists the credits for everybody that was involved in it. It's always nice to give a shout out to the people that have helped you in these situations. I'm not going to read them all out because my eyes are so bad I'd have to lean right in. I'm not going to do that. Got my reputation to consider, haven't I? All right, well, there you go. That's Squid. I'm going to cover more of their stuff, I think, because that's really interesting. Absolutely loved it, actually. Yeah, Squid. Let me know what you think of Squid in the comment section below. This is challenging stuff. I mean, even just before you get into the imagery and stuff, it's like I don't think that's a traditional arrangement. The way the guitars and the bass interact with one another is just, it's chaos. It's true chaos. But somehow it resolves itself, and then you find a hook in there, True American, and you hang your coat on that, because the rest of the song is kind of like, it doesn't build up into a sort of dynamic crescendo like that, but this just has that moment that defines the song. The rest of it is just anybody's guess what's happening. It's just amazing. Must be really fun to play in a band like that, actually, where there's doesn't seem to be any structure and rigidity, and then suddenly it all comes together when the strings come in and the hook. Interesting stuff. be delighted to take part in a conversation about this if you're inclined to comment. So please do so. Justin Hawkins rides again. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, watch one of these 2 videos, and listen to the music of Squid and tell me what you think. Nice one, guys. I'll see you on the ice. Okay, all that stuff. Okay.